Have you ever laid in bed at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling, consumed by dreams that feel bigger than life itself, yet somehow you do absolutely nothing the next day? You say you want success. You want power, respect, maybe even love that doesn't run cold. But you can't get out of bed. You keep scrolling. You keep waiting. And deep down, you hate that version of yourself, right? If that's you, if you're ambitious but lazy, then stop what you're doing and listen closely. Because this story might just save your future, and yes, maybe even your love life. But before we dive in, hit that like button if you've ever felt stuck between your dreams and your habits. Subscribe to Stoic Vibes if you're on the path to mastering your life through ancient wisdom. And please watch this video till the end, because each rule builds on the last, and one might be the key you've been looking for your whole life. All right, let's get into it. The story of two wolves, desire versus discipline. Let me tell you a story, not about someone famous, but about someone like you. There was once a young man named Zaid, ambitious to the core. He'd write his goals down with fire in his eyes, start a business, hit the gym, master Stoicism, become the man she regrets losing. But every day he woke up late, scrolled, compared himself to people he didn't know, procrastinated until he hated even looking at himself in the mirror. He was like a Ferrari with no fuel, all potential, no movement. One night, after yet another Netflix binge, he stumbled upon a line from Marcus Aurelius. You don't love yourself. If you did, you would love your time, because time is what life is made of. That hit Zaid like a punch in the gut. And that night, something shifted. He realized ambition without action is self-betrayal. From that moment, Zaid started applying 5 Stoic rules, simple, ancient, and brutally honest, that slowly turned his lazy ambition into a disciplined, powerful force. Let's walk through those same 5 rules. Rule number 1, accept harsh reality. Amor Fati. Let me ask you something, be honest. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, why me? Why didn't I get the family support that others had? Why do I have to deal with anxiety, heartbreak, rejection, poverty, or even just this haunting sense of being behind everyone else? You look around and it seems like everyone else got a head start. And you're playing catch up with weights on your ankles. That's where most people stop. That's where most people stay. But not you. Not if you're ready to live like a Stoic. See, the Stoics had a rule that cuts through all the whining, all the blaming, all the comparing. It's a Latin phrase, 2 simple words, Amor Fati. Love your fate. It doesn't mean tolerate it. It doesn't mean endure it. It means embrace it. Love it, every bit of it. Even the pain. Even the unfairness. Even the heartbreak. It means owning your story as if you chose. Every chapter, even the ones that broke you. Let me tell you a story about a guy named Bilal. Bilal was one of those kids who grew up thinking life owed him something. He didn't say it out loud, but deep down he believed it. His father was barely present. His mom was working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. And on top of that, he was dumped by the only girl who ever really knew him, right when he thought they'd spend forever together. That breakup shattered him. He'd walk the streets at night, hoodie up, music blasting in his ears, trying to drown the echo of his thoughts. I'm not enough. I'll never make it. One night, he stumbled across a quote from Marcus Aurelius while scrolling mindlessly. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. At first, he didn't understand it. But then he kept reading, and he came across another one. A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. And something clicked. What if all this pain wasn't there to stop him, but to form him? What if life wasn't against him, but shaping him into someone unbreakable? That's Amor Fati. He started reading more about the Stoics. Epictetus, born a slave, beaten until he was crippled. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor dealing with plagues, wars, and betrayal. Seneca, exiled and later forced to commit suicide. None of them had it easy, but none of them ever said, why me? Because they knew the secret. You don't get to control the cards you're dealt, but you do control how you play them. And Bilal started playing differently. He stopped wishing things were easier, and started wishing he was stronger. He stopped blaming his parents, his ex, society, and started owning everything. He took the rejection and made it his reason. He took the poverty and made it his fire. He started saying thank you for the pain because it forced him to wake up. And slowly, his life started to change. Not because fate got easier, but because he got harder, Look, maybe you didn't get the perfect start. Maybe you've been hurt. Maybe people underestimated you, left you, ignored you. But here's the truth. You can spend the next 10 years waiting for an apology, or you can become the version of yourself that doesn't need one. Every great man, every warrior, every king, every Stoic you admire didn't get there because life was kind. They got there because they stopped fighting reality and started mastering it. When you practice Amor Fati, you look at your worst moments and say, "This too is mine, and I will use it." Your heartbreak, use it to build emotional strength. Your poverty, use it to sharpen your discipline. Your anxiety, use it to develop mental awareness. Your rejection, use it to master your self-worth. When you stop resisting what is, you gain the power to change what can be. Look, I'm not telling you to pretend everything is good. Stoicism isn't delusion. It's not saying, "It's fine," when your heart is breaking or your future is uncertain. It's saying, "This is real and now. I get to choose what I do next." You want to change your life? Start with this mindset. Nothing happened to me. Everything happened for me. Say it out loud. Right now, nothing happened to me. Everything happened for me. Every wound, every delay, every loss, all of it forged the fire you're about to burn with. That's Amor Fati. Now tell me, are you still going to lie there and feel sorry for yourself? Or are you going to stand up, look life in the eyes and say, "Thank you. I needed this." Rule number 2, kill the comfort. The obstacle is the way. Let me ask you something that might sting a bit. When was the last time you deliberately chose discomfort? Not because you had to, but because you wanted to get stronger. If you're like most people, the answer is never. Because let's be honest, we've been conditioned to chase comfort like it's happiness. We treat ease like a reward and hardship like a punishment. But what if I told you that your addiction to comfort is the very thing killing your ambition? Let me take you back to a real story. His name was Adil. Adil was one of the smartest guys in his class, gifted, sharp, big dreams, always talking about launching his own startup, becoming financially free, building a life no one in his family ever had. But every time an opportunity came, he hesitated. Wake up early? Nah, tomorrow. Pitch his idea. Maybe next month. Hit the gym? Later, after this show. Break up with a toxic friend? Not yet. He kept choosing what was comfortable. The bed was too warm. The fear of failure too paralyzing. The distractions too sweet. And the couch, oh man. The couch was a trap that felt like love. Years passed. One day, Adil sat in a car with his younger cousin who just got promoted, was engaged, and had just bought his own apartment. And all Adil could think was, that should have been me. He didn't say it, but he felt it. Later that night, in a haze of shame, he remembered something he once read. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. He sat in silence. Was the problem really his lack of opportunity? Or was it his relationship with resistance? See, this is where the Stoics were brutal, but brutally honest. They believed that life is a battlefield, not a beach. And every time you choose comfort over discomfort, you become weaker. You send a message to your mind that says, "I can't handle hard things." But the Stoics, they did the opposite. Seneca used to sleep on the floor of his luxurious home, just to remind himself that he didn't need luxury. Epictetus, who was born into slavery, taught that suffering wasn't optional, it was essential training. They didn't chase comfort, they killed it. They trained their minds to seek resistance, not avoid it. And that's what Adil decided to do. It started small. He took cold showers, not because they were pleasant, but because they sucked. And surviving that first shock of water gave him a rush he hadn't felt in years. He started waking up at 5 a.m., no matter what. And yes, the bed called him back every morning, but he started whispering back, "You've lied to me long enough." He stopped eating for pleasure and started eating for energy. He deleted social media for a month and realized how addicted he was to being entertained. He went to the gym and lifted light weights, but with perfect form, focusing on every rep like it was his last. And then he did the scariest thing of all. He made a phone call to someone who had crushed his confidence years ago and told them, "Thank you. You pushed me to become someone better." See, killing comfort isn't about suffering for no reason. It's about reclaiming your power. Because every comfort zone is a coffin in disguise. Let me say that again. Every comfort zone is a coffin in disguise. You're alive, but you're not living. You're breathing, but you're not becoming. You're ambitious but lazy, not because you lack passion, but because you've made pleasure your god. So here's the shift. The obstacle is the way. That cold morning, that awkward silence, that rejection, that failure, that pain in your legs when you run, that fear before speaking up, that's the real path. That's the training ground where your highest self is being forged. Let's get personal. What if the life you want is just on the other side of what makes you uncomfortable? What if love, success, discipline, and freedom all live behind a door that can only be unlocked through voluntary suffering? What if your laziness isn't a problem with your character, but a symptom of your comfort? Adil realized this, and so can you. He didn't wake up motivated every day, but he woke up committed. He didn't always feel strong, but he acted like strength was already inside him, and slowly, life stopped happening to him. It started happening through him. Let me leave you with this challenge. Do one thing today that makes you uncomfortable, not because it's productive, but because it hurts a little. It could be sitting in silence with your thoughts, telling someone the truth you've been avoiding, running in the rain, saying no when you usually say yes, choosing water over soda, writing the first line of your book even if you're scared it'll suck. Do it, and do it again tomorrow. Because on the other side of discomfort is your power. You just forgot what it feels like to be alive. Now go remind yourself. Rule number 3, Memento Mori, remember death, live now. Have you ever caught yourself saying, I'll do it tomorrow? I'll start next week. I'll fix things when I'm ready. Let me hit you with a cold truth that most people avoid their entire lives. You are going to die. Not maybe, not someday, not in some distant, dreamy future. You will die, and it might happen sooner than you think. Yeah, I know, that sounds dark, but stay with me, because the ancient Stoics didn't fear death, they used it. They had a practice, a simple, powerful rule. Memento Mori, remember you must die. Not to scare themselves, but to wake up. Because nothing sharpens the blade of urgency like knowing your time is running out. That cold morning, that awkward silence, that rejection, that failure, that pain in your legs when you run, that fear before speaking up, that's the real path. That's the training ground where your highest self is being forged. Let's get personal. What if the life you want is just on the other side of what makes you uncomfortable? What if love, success, discipline, and freedom all live behind a door that can only be unlocked through voluntary suffering? What if your laziness isn't a problem with your character, but a symptom of your comfort? Adil realized this, and so can you. He didn't wake up motivated every day, but he woke up committed. He didn't always feel strong, but he acted like strength was already inside him, and slowly life stopped happening to him. It started happening through him. Let me leave you with this challenge. Do one thing today that makes you uncomfortable, not because it's productive, but because it hurts a little. It could be sitting in silence with your thoughts, telling someone the truth you've been avoiding, running in the rain, saying no when you usually say yes, choosing water over soda, writing the first line of your book even if you're scared it'll suck. Do it, and do it again tomorrow. Because on the other side of discomfort is your power. You just forgot what it feels like to be alive. Now go remind yourself. Rule number 3, Memento Mori, remember death, live now. Have you ever caught yourself saying, I'll do it tomorrow? I'll start next week. I'll fix things when I'm ready. Let me hit you with a cold truth that most people avoid their entire lives. You are going to die. Not maybe, not someday, not in some distant dreamy future. You will die, and it might happen sooner than you think. Yeah, I know, that sounds dark, but stay with me, because the ancient Stoics didn't fear death, they used it. They had a practice, a simple, powerful rule. Memento Mori, remember you must die, not to scare themselves, but to wake up, because nothing sharpens the blade of urgency like knowing your time is running out. Let me tell you a story. Her name was Mahira. She was the kind of person who lived in the someday zone. Someday she'd start painting again. Someday she'd forgive her father. Someday she'd travel. Someday she'd tell that one person how she really felt. But she was busy scrolling, busy thinking about what people might say, busy numbing the ache of unlived dreams. And then it happened. One morning, Mahira got a call. Her best friend from college gone. A car accident. No warning, no goodbye. Just gone. She sat there frozen. The phone still in her hand. Heart pounding, guilt, shock, silence. They had plans. plans to reconnect, plans to talk. But Mahira kept putting it off. And now all she had was a someday that would never come. That night, unable to sleep, she stumbled upon a quote from Marcus Aurelius. "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." That moment shattered her. But also, it saved her. She realized something most people spend their whole lives running from. Death isn't the end. It's the reminder. The reminder that this moment right now is all you've ever had and all you ever will. From that day on, Mahira started living differently. She kept a coin in her pocket that said Memento Mori, and every time she touched it, she asked herself, if this were my last day, would I be proud of how I'm living it? She started calling people she hadn't spoken to in years, not because they deserved it, but because she did. She started painting again, not for likes, not for sales, just for her soul. She started waking up early, moving her body, writing in her journal, and doing the things that made her feel alive. Because the truth is, death isn't the enemy. Wasting your life is. And if you're ambitious but lazy, this might be the most powerful rule of all. Because laziness is a luxury the dying don't have. Think about that. If the doctor told you right now you had 30 days left, what would you do? Would you still hit snooze 10 times? Still hold grudges? Still delay your goals? Still care what strangers think? No. You'd live. Fully. Boldly. Honestly. You'd stop pretending that your time is unlimited. You'd stop waiting for the right time. You'd stop betraying yourself. Memento Mori gives you that mindset before it's too late. Let me share something I do personally. Every morning before I check my phone, before I start my day, I ask myself 3 questions. 1, if I die tonight, will I be proud of how I live today? 2, who do I need to love better? 3, what fear do I need to stop letting control me? And on the days I live by those answers, those are the days I feel most alive. So here's my challenge to you. Write your eulogy. Yeah, really. Not what you think people would say if you died today, but what you want them to say. He was relentless. She never held back. He made everyone around him better. She chased her dreams without apology. He loved without fear. And then live that every single day, because one day that speech will be real, and you won't be there to edit it. Your legacy will be written by your actions, not your intentions. So stop acting like you have time. Call your mother. Start the project. End the toxic relationship. Write the first chapter. Say what you need to say. Take the trip. Hit the gym. Forgive. Apologize. Ask them out. Say yes to life. Say no to fear. Because the clock is ticking, my friend, and you don't get to rewind it. Death isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. So let it teach you urgency, gratitude, boldness, humility, love. Let it make you fearless. Let it make you hungry. Let it make you present. Because when you live with death in your pocket, you stop wasting your days like you've got millions left. And that is how you fix a lazy life. Rule number 4, do what you can, the discipline of action. Let me ask you something. How often do you feel overwhelmed? Not just tired, I mean paralyzed. You wake up with 1,000 dreams. A burning desire to fix your body, your mind, your life. You write your goals down, watch motivational videos, plan your perfect routine. But by noon, you're right back where you started. Netflix running, phone buzzing, brain fogged, motivation gone. You feel like a fraud. And that self-loathing voice inside your head whispers, see, you'll never change. If that sounds like you, I need you to hear this next part like your future depends on it, because it does. The Stoics had a rule that changed everything for people who feel stuck. Focus only on what you can control. That's it. That's the gateway. Because let's be real, you're not lazy because you don't care. You're not failing because you're weak. You're overwhelmed because you're trying to control everything. You're drowning in the weight of results. You obsess over the big picture so much that you forget the power of a single step. Let me tell you about Armin. Armin was the kind of guy who had incredible vision. He wanted to be a speaker, a coach, a business owner. He had notebooks filled with plans, strategies, and vision boards. But he also had something else, procrastination. Every time he looked at how far he had to go, he froze. So he filled his days with busy work, reading articles, watching videos, organizing his folders, researching tools he never used. He was moving, but not in the right direction. Until one day he came across this quote from Epictetus. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Simple, clear, brutal. That quote hit him hard. He realized something. He didn't need another plan. He didn't need more clarity. He just needed to do the next hard thing. So he made a new rule. No more planning. One action a day, every day. One email, one cold call, one workout, one uncomfortable conversation. Even on the worst days, Armand took one step forward, no matter how small. And guess what? That one step became 2, then 3, then 5. Soon, the momentum he could never plan into existence started building naturally. See, the Stoics weren't big on feelings. They didn't wait to feel ready. They acted out of principle, not emotion. And this is where most people go wrong. You wait to feel like working out. You wait to feel confident. You wait to feel inspired to write, to create, to begin. But the Stoics flipped that. Don't feel your way into action. Act your way into feeling. Start small. Start dirty. Start unsure, but start. That's what Armand did. That's what every disciplined man before you has done. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine your future is a mountain. Your dreams live at the top. You can spend your life staring at the peak, thinking about how far it is, how long it'll take, how much better others are at climbing. Or you can look down, find the next rock, and put your damn foot on it. You only need to see the next step. Nothing more. That's the discipline of action. And here's what it sounds like in real life. I don't need to run a marathon. I need to put on my shoes and run for 5 minutes. I don't need to build $1 million business. I need to make my first sale. I don't need to fix my whole life. I need to fix my morning. I don't need to fall in love again. I need to become someone worth loving. You control your inputs, not your outcomes. You control your effort, not your environment. You control your discipline, not your destiny. And when you shift into that mindset, laziness starts to die, because laziness thrives in fantasy, but discipline thrives in clarity. Let me ask you something. What's one thing, just one, you can do today that your future self will thank you for? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Maybe it's sending that apology text. Maybe it's writing one paragraph. Maybe it's deleting that toxic app. Maybe it's finally sitting in silence and listening to your own thoughts. Whatever it is, do it, and then do it again tomorrow. Because the Stoics understood what most people never will. Success doesn't belong to the most motivated. It belongs to the most consistent. You don't need fire. You need friction. You don't need lightning bolts. You need daily sparks, tiny, almost invisible actions that stack up into greatness. And if you fail, good. Pick up your sword, try again tomorrow. Because discipline isn't about never falling. It's about rising quicker every time you do. So remember, don't aim to control the world. Just take control of you, right now. One move at a time. Rule number 5, become a fortress, control the inner voice. Let me ask you something personal. What does your inner voice sound like? Is it kind? Is it focused? Is it calm and disciplined? Or is it cruel? Is it chaotic? Does it sound like the voices of people who doubted you, rejected you, humiliated you? Most people don't realize this, but your life is being run by one of 2 forces. 1, the world outside you. 2, or the voice inside you. And here's the terrifying truth. If you don't build a fortress in your mind, the world will break you from the inside. The Stoics knew this better than anyone. And that's why one of their most powerful rules was this. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Let me tell you a story.
His name was Fahad.
Fahad looked confident on the outside. Gym rat, good job. Sharp clothes, smart mind. But inside, a storm. Every mistake he made echoed in his head like thunder. Every delay felt like failure. Every small slip-up became a reason to hate himself. He couldn't forgive himself for not being where he thought he should be. Every time he looked in the mirror, he saw wasted potential. A man trapped in a glass box of his own expectations. But here's the catch. No one else could see that prison. Because it wasn't made of steel or bars, it was built entirely from his thoughts. Sound familiar? We all have that voice. That relentless narrator. You're lazy. You're not good enough. She doesn't love you because you're weak. You'll never make it. You're too late. And the more you listen to it, the more you become it. Fahad was lost until he picked up a Stoic book one day and read something that cracked open the door to freedom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. He paused. Was it really that simple? Was he feeding the voice that was killing him? That night, he grabbed a notebook, just a plain journal, and for the first time in years, he wrote down the things he said to himself, and what he saw terrified him. He'd never speak to a friend the way he spoke. To himself, never, not even to an enemy. So he made a decision. He was going to build a fortress. Brick by brick, thought by thought. The next day, he wrote down 3 lies his mind kept repeating. I'm falling behind. I'm too inconsistent to succeed. I'm not worthy of love. And for each lie, he wrote a new thought, a Stoic thought. I'm moving at my pace. Progress is personal. Consistency is built in days, not declared in one. Love isn't earned by perfection, it's shared through truth. And guess what? It didn't change him overnight. This isn't a movie. But over time, something deep began to shift. His inner voice became a mentor, not a monster. That's what the Stoics meant when they said we must rule our minds or be ruled by them. They didn't say never feel fear. They said don't believe the fear. They didn't say ignore emotion. They said don't let it govern you. Because your mind untamed is your enemy. But your mind trained is your greatest weapon. Here's what Fahad started doing every day. Morning reset. First 5 minutes of the day, no phone. Just deep breathing and a single question. Who do I want to be today? Mental journaling. Writing down his thoughts, not just what happened, but how he interpreted it. Separating facts from feelings. Stoic reframing. Every time a negative thought came, he paused. Asked, would Marcus Aurelius believe this? Would Epictetus accept this? And with time, his fortress grew stronger. He stopped spiraling after mistakes, stopped chasing validation, stopped replaying old arguments and imaginary conversations, because he realized, you become whatever voice you trust the most. So who are you trusting? The voice that tells you you're not enough? Or the voice that says, yes, I fall, but I rise every time. I am not my emotions. I am the master of them. This isn't about delusion. It's about discipline. You don't need to lie to yourself. You need to lead yourself. That's what Stoicism teaches. And listen, I know this is hard. You've lived with that voice for years. It sounds like you. It feels like truth, but it's not. It's a pattern, a habit, a lie repeated so often it became your soundtrack. And now you get to rewrite it. That's your mission from this point forward. Become the voice you wish you had when you were younger. Be the inner father, the inner coach, the inner general. Because one day your mind will either be your graveyard or your kingdom. So build your fortress. Guard your thoughts like your life depends on them, because it does. And next time that old voice whispers, you're not good enough, just smile and say, that's not my voice anymore. If you're still here, that means you're ready. You've now walked through all 5 Stoic rules, not as theory, but as weapons. Amor Fati, love your fate. The obstacle is the way. Kill the comfort. Memento Mori. Remember death, live now. Discipline of action, do what you can. Mental fortress, control the inner voice. These aren't quotes to post. These are tools to use. So use them. Every day, 1 rule, 1 action, 1 thought at a time. And as you do, laziness will fade, power will rise, and your future, it'll start to obey you. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.